Well, they're filing in here for what should be a tremendous tilt. The Golden Gophers rank, depending on the poll you look at, number 8 or 10 in the country. Minnesota State, number 4 in the nation. And between the pipes, it's going to be a real busy night for these two young men. Matthias Israelsson from Sweden via the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
It will be a busy night, but last weekend he faced 19 shots. Yes, he played more than one period. Yes. He actually played 2 games. The first period last weekend, 0 shots on goal. Not the case for Matt Robson. He's used to a steady body of work. And look at that save percentage. Awfully good for this Golden Gopher team.
Our starting goalie is brought to you by Northland Ford. Well, tonight, Bob Moscow will finally get this team going for a 2-game series, although it's home and home. But that's better than nothing. They've only played 3 games, and to hear him say it, they really played 2 games. He was not happy at all with the 3rd one against North Dakota last Saturday night in Las Vegas. And a lot of things to be changed, but the Minnesota Duluth series, the home and home that opened the season, we saw some terrific hockey. We came walking out of here after that Saturday game saying, whoa, old-time Gopher hockey might be back. Mike Hastings will have something to say about that, though. What a powerhouse team he's built down there.
Just an incredible team that plays so hard. They embody Mike Hastings' style of hockey, and if you show up with that purple and gold, you better bring a lunch pail. You're going to play hard for that man, and that is really the identity of this program.
The thing of it is, 2 hard-driving coaches who expect a great deal of everybody, except nothing less. 2 of the nicest guys in the game. Sheehy off a skate. The Gopher attack thwarted as Clayton Phillips hauls back and looks and fires a tip. Trouble pulled away and turned out by Julian Napravnik from Bad Nauheim, Germany. And we'll stop play right there.
A nice rush by the Gophers there as they were able to spread the puck out wide. Tyler Sheehy actually had an opportunity to shoot the puck, but he was trying to find a late trailing Sampo Ranta, who's just been on fire early in his Gopher career. 3 games played, a couple of goals, 3 points total. A good sign when many of the people were really talking about Sammy Walker, who's been great offensively as well, being the go-to freshman. Nice to have 2.
Brant Gates Jr., who's 5-on-3 goal was the only goal the Gophers scored against North Dakota last Saturday night. Digging on the boards, Gates number 10. The puck popping away, however. Minnesota 1-1-1 after the split with UMD. Now the Gophers attacking low, but the net is knocked off the standard. And Matthias Israelsson will have to stop him. Let him set that back up again. Hard.
In front of the net, Blake McLaughlin, who sat out after getting hurt in the first practice of the season, now back in action. This is the 2nd game after playing that off-site match in Las Vegas against the University of North Dakota.
I'll have to bring out the arena crew to do a little work. Best maintained buildings at all levels of hockey here. Craig Floor and his bunch. Tonight's injury report brought to you by Sanford Health. The Minnesota State Mavericks with nobody. The Gopher Scott Reedy, a lower body injury, and that is week to week. Keep you apprised of that as the opportunity presents itself.
Gophers without the big sophomore. That'll affect a bit of the rotation in the power play with he normally occupying some space out in front of the net. You touched on it. The Gophers able to score a power play goal against the University of North Dakota. On the other hand, they're going to face off the team against a team that had 6 power play goals last weekend. In fact, 4 on Friday night. All 4 of their goals in their victory against the University of Alaska came via the power play.
Well, you know, it's an old hockey adage, and it's obvious. It's hard to score from the penalty box. The Gophers have got to, among other things, stay out of the penalty box while still playing aggressive hockey, and that's a job.
And
difficult to do.
Top-rated mustache in all of college hockey right there, Jack Ramsey, and it's his birthday, Doug. So happy birthday to Jack Ramsey, and first-team all-mustache member.
I get behind that 100%.
That's like very Wyatt Earpish.
That is
strong play.
Yeah, I don't do the tips in mine like some of the guys who really want to. It's too much work. But you can use it. They used to have an equipment manager here, Jack Johnson, had an incredible flowing mustache, and he really worked on it. So that was something to look at. But anyway, happy birthday to the mustache man. Let's go down to ice level now on Katie Emmer.
Yeah, guys, two important streaks to mention that are happening from the Gophers tonight. Freshman forward Sampo Ranta. He's our Toyota key stat, and he's also on a 3-game point streak. The last freshman to do so was Rem Pitlick back in the 16-17 season. Also, the only other Finnish player in Gopher hockey with a similar start was Eric Haula. Another streak worth mentioning, senior captain Darian Romanko. He's skating into his 100th straight game for the Gophers tonight. The only Gopher to play in every game over the last 2 seasons. Consistency is key, guys. Hopefully these two keep the ball rolling. Better said, maybe the puck rolling.
All right, Katie, and remember just a very few years ago when Hudson Fasching started off this season with an 8-game scoring streak and just lit everything up. And so then now you wonder, possibilities are always out there.
Hudson Fasching being traded to the Arizona Coyotes organization this offseason after his first few with the Buffalo Sabres organization.
Sammy Walker now stands in for the draw for Minnesota. Jake Jerebko for Minnesota State. And here's Connor Mackey, WCHA all-rookie team last year, driving down the line. Mackey flings it to Max Cota. His dad's a former head football coach at that time Mankato State. The puck digging along the boards. Sammy Walker, number 9, trying to get it out, but no, Mackey is there. Connor Mackey swings it up and down and turns. Gets some assistance and then a check. Now they bang it out of the corner. Flipped away by Cota, but picked off by Minnesota. Brandon McManus. Walker over the line, one touch and down. And the Gophers changing behind the flow.
Lots of patience here by the number 18, Ian Scheid. He's going to be a player that's awfully confident with the puck, and when it's on his stick, he's not going to be trying to stuff it into traffic. He'll take his time. The Gopher players need to make sure that they pressure him with speed, but then they have to follow through as well, Doug. They can't just get to him because he'll look you off. He's got that type of offensive capabilities.
That's a great look you got going there, Rammer. That is just a great look. Oops, this will drizzle right down on to Matthias Israelsson, and he'll drop down. Israelsson from Ytterby, Sweden, spent his last 3 seasons playing at Northern Michigan University, recently for our friend, former Gopher assistant Grant Patolny up there at Marquette. Well, he elected to come down here to play, and what a situation both these coaches have. They've got a fine backup goalie in Dryden McKay. And Minnesota has 2 incredible goal talents in Shearhorn and Robson. Robson now turned back at the line, and here comes Minnesota State. They swing a long rink wider for Gerard. Whipped away by Robson. Out almost on the blade, but not so. They dig, and a great bit of stick work for Gerard, driving on, and a deflection away by Matt Robson.
Saw a defensive play there with Romanko backing up his defenseman Jack Sadik.
They dig, and behind the net they go. Kalis has it back. Tip now to Toomey. Toomey fencing along the end boards with Clayton Phillips. And they dig, and it's pulled down. Here's Zamolik, a familiar name to Golden Gopher hockey fans of a few years ago. And Doug, of course, was a Gopher and a North Star. Went to San Jose pretty early on when that situation came about. And the Gunn brothers sold their interest in the North Stars. And we know how that worked out. Now the puck banged out of the zone by Minnesota State. Robson thought it might be icing and threw up his arm, but then it turned out not to be. And now away comes Minnesota. Here's Pitlick driving the line, cut off by Andy Carroll. A jam by Pitlick right through the goal crease, but Ranta could not connect.
Strong move to the outside there with Pitlick just powering his way through the defender. Then he tries to find Rampa with the center drive.
Down comes the speedy Minnesota State Mavericks. In the corner, Spooner. Jared Spooner checked by Zulsdorf. Spooner ratcheted the puck away, but he was hit. Bobby Stucker is there. A high puck batted down by Sheehy. Up for grabs now. The Mavericks keep it alive. Jack McNeely punches one. Hit the goal post. A long drive deck level by Jack McNeely. Former Lakeville North standout for Minnesota State.
This goes to show he doesn't need to be that slap shot. Get it on net. Robson unable to see that shot through traffic.
McNeely, a big sophomore, looking for his first points of the year, and he almost got one. Back comes Minnesota. Streaming deep, but turned back and away now by Zamolik. Reese Zamolik. Tapped away. Mackey is there. And that one sings into the Minnesota zone. Turned in a crowd. Reggie Lutz is there. It's a great hockey-loving family, the Lutzes from Elk River. Puck spanked off the boards. Drizzles away past Gates. No clear control down the left wing boards. Now reaching in. Jake Jeremko walks it in to the slot. Nothing there. And hustling in off the bench, Andy Carroll had his eyes on it, but he couldn't get there quick enough to make that one-time drive.
Yeah, he talks about Reggie Lutz trying to find a little space there and keep that goal streak going. And a nice goal last weekend.
Tyler Nanny got it down low, and here come the Golden Gophers. There's a great look at they turned the corner down there. Sammy Walker flipped away by Minnesota State. Back and forth it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. A great start here. Sadik pounded, stepped part of way out of Michaela's check. And the puck lifted to the line. Sadik with a kick. Now it's Carroll. Andy Carroll. Now banging away on the left wing boards. Carroll, a freshman out of Northfield High School. Deep they come. Here's a one-time drive and a score. Dallas Garrett's, the sophomore from Blaine, has his third of the season already. He had 2 against Boston University in the season opener. Garrett's makes it 1-0 Minnesota State.
This play really developed through the neutral zone as Michaelis was able to hit this line with speed that pushes the Gophers back, and then all of a sudden puck watching happens as the Minnesota Gophers are exploited right through that seam there, and I believe Robson was starting to shift to his left to cover that back door where Michaelis, who initially had the zone entry, was parked on that back side.
Gerard and Michaelis will get the assists on the third of the year for Dallas Garrett's. And what you don't want to do is fall behind early to a team like Minnesota State, 4th in the nation, but that's what's happened. But Minnesota, number 8 or 10, depending on the poll you like. Comes streaming back. And it was close. And in the corner now, it's French. Loose puck in the Minnesota zone, tracked down by Walker Dewar. His cousin Zeb Knutson played 4 years at Minnesota State. Looked through the neutral zone, pulled away now by Dewar. Sioux Falls native. Flipped away behind the net to Nicholas Rivera. Now they pile along the advertising, dragged away by Denman. Minnesota trying to pull the puck out of its own zone. Zulsdorf away to Sheehy. And at neutral they go. Sampo Ranta brings it around the boards. Ranta chasing, piled into by Edwin Hookinson. And the Gophers, 3 men deep. A drive block pulled away to Pitlick. Rem Pitlick grinding along the wing boards with Zamolik. They punch it over. Sadik is there. Fires, and a save by Israelson.
Rem Pitlick able to beat Zamolik back to the net area as Sadik tried to throw that into traffic.
Here's Sadik now to turn it back out to neutral ice. Sadik shook off one check, shook off another, got it through legs. Here comes Sheehy, a shot blocked by Carroll. Tyler Sheehy, a dangerous puck handler. Pitlick had it but lost it. Pitlick taken down, fans bellowing for a penalty. Nothing coming there. Puck pulled out of the crowd by Reggie Lutz. Wheels around and deals, and a save by Robson. Minnesota State. Look at the Mavericks keep up the pressure, though. Here behind the net comes Jeremko. A full 360, but out of the crowd it goes on the stick of Blake McLaughlin. Here's McLaughlin driving the wing boards. Hits the brakes. Bangs it over. A shot down into the corner. Fans oohing and eyeing on some of these plays. Nanny rips it deep for Minnesota. Number 12 is Max Coda. To the line, though. Gates drives it back low, but it's picked off by the Mavericks, and they'll carry it out. Lutz was piled into over there, and now there's going to be a penalty. An elbow that drove Reggie Lutz into the boards at neutral ice is going to put the most powerful power play in this area on the advantage.
The Mavs up a goal on the Gophers, and last weekend was all about the power play for the Mavericks. They'll have their first opportunity as Tyler Nanny is called on this play. Elbowing right there, and the mid-ice officials, you see the forward official calls this play, and the Gopher penalty kill will have an opportunity. And Bob Motzkow, who talked about the importance of keeping this power play off the ice, is going to have its first test.
So the Gophers go into penalty kill mode, and the awesome penalty, or the power play unit rather, for Minnesota State will get to work. But first things first, Tommy Novak pops it away. So Minnesota PK team goes to work. Zulsdorf and Sadik. Novak and Sheehy, although they're changing now. And the puck thrown deep into enemy territory.
Scheid will lug this puck up. Had a pair of power play goals last week and an assist as well. It will be on his stick quite often.
Toomey toppled by Sadik, but here's Toomey back on his pins again. He walks, looks, swings it high. Power play constricts a little bit now for Minnesota State. Here's a flip away to Prochnik, and a drive by Toomey, but no.
Terrific patience in the middle there as the Mavericks were able to work that puck in. The Gophers collapse that power play and then kick it out to Toomey, who was in a prime spot to shoot, but the final Gopher defender was able to get in that shooting lane, put him in a difficult spot.
Connor Mackey brings it out now for Minnesota State. 51 seconds left on the Mavericks power play. Broken up. Turned back into their zone. And here's Mackey again. His dad, Dave Mackey, a former NHL player, if the name sounds familiar, former North Star for a while. Blackhawks, St. Louis Blues player back in the 80s. Jeremko on the power play for 32 seconds. Picked off as they tried to center by Gates. Now Gates shorthanded. Pitlick corkscrewed off balance, and back come the Mavericks. It's Jeremko driving, open, shooting, and a save by Robeson. 19 seconds left in the power play now for Minnesota State.
Well, a possible 2-on-1 is fumbled on the offensive blue line for the Gophers. 3-on-2 goes back the other way, but right at the very end there, Brent Gates gets all the way back, gets a stick in, makes that save a touch easier for the junior Matt Robson.
All the way to the wrong side again as far as Minnesota State is concerned.
So far, the Gophers' penalty kills really been all about controlling the neutral zone and allowing themselves an opportunity to clear. They do it again as Novak and Sheehy are able to get in the offensive players' skating routes.
Only one shot on that power play for Minnesota State. It looked like the Mavs were going to generate more than that, but they didn't get in on the Minnesota defense, and so here we are. Remains 1-0. And the Mavericks come down. And we'll have a whistle as they get along the inboards there. And, there's a penalty. A slashing penalty with 8:53 to go in the period. And that is going to put Minnesota shorthanded again. After the North Dakota game last Saturday, Bob Motzkow was very concerned about the types of penalties the Gophers were taking. Here we go.
Stick infraction, and That's a play that's getting called more and more, even the National Hockey League. Players, I feel like, dropping their stick at times. I was listening to a broadcast this week, and it was an adamant conversation on the ice that you were privy to, and the offending players saying, no, he dropped that on purpose. I wonder if that will develop into some sort of possible embellishment call.
Oh, Lord, I hope they don't go there, but it's entirely possible. Power play 2 for Minnesota State. Again, the Mavericks had got only one shot on their previous power play. Plenty of time to go in the first period. Mavericks lead 1-0. With Ben Clammer and Katie Emmer, Doug McLeod at 3M Arena at Mariucci. Here's a point-blank chip shot, and another one by Napravnik. Both saves by Robson, and the puck comes to the line. And the Mavericks take their time and set up Napravnik. High slide, it's Toomey. What a whack by Robson, who just got it out of the blue paint. Now turned in by Michaelis. Patient power play with a lot of firepower. Michaelis there fires. That's tipped up high and out. And with 1:05 left on this power play for Minnesota State, the faceoff comes in the Gopher zone.
Here's a key foul for the Gophers. 2 players pursue Michaelis in the corner. That opens up an opportunity for the Mavericks to bring it into a scoring opportunity. Fortunately, they shoot that puck wide. The Gophers have to communicate a touch better. And often, Doug, we see the Gophers victimize teams coming into an Olympic-sized sheet. They get off their marks. The Gophers, unfortunately, falling a little bit to their own type of usual offensive advantage.
Tomorrow night's game will be at the Verizon Center in Mankato. Hold off by Coda. Power play has 49 seconds to run for Minnesota State. Right up the gut by Mackey. A whack in the corner by Clayton Phillips. Pittsburgh Penguins draft property, and it's cleared all the way down by the Gophers.
Mackey tried to get that into Spooner, the only player last weekend who was able to score an even strength goal, which is a bit odd. Score 7 goals on a weekend and just one singular even strength goal.
They tried to break a long one for Spooner, but it just didn't hook up. Minnesota now has 19 seconds to kill. Student body in the corner. Mackey swings it over. A blast turned away by Robson. The door open, and the Mavericks punch it in. No, but it was close. And 9 seconds of power play time still is on the board.
Spooner with the nice little poke there to effectively drive the needle into the Gophers. And there you see it, averaging 37 against, and his counterpart has been very quiet tonight with only 3 shots by the Gophers. As we said, 19 against. Robson chewing off a big body of work.
Spinning puck gathered out of the deep slot and thrown ahead to Sammy Walker. 2 seconds, 1. Gophers now are at full strength. Walker sails into the corner, punched by Zamolik. 3 shots on that power play for Minnesota State. Mavericks now 0 for 2 on the man advantage. Wheeling around, Rossini just turned away by Israelson, and that's going to be a slashing penalty down low the other way.
What a great show of effort and hustle by the 2 Gopher offensive players, Ranta and Walker. And watch their feet move here. Walker carried this puck all the way down the ice. He's supported by his other freshmen. They keep going through, and it is this effort that creates a power play opportunity. They turn that puck over and put the Mavericks in a position they have to take a penalty, and that's just coming through hard work. Good to see for Bob Motzko that his freshmen are buzzing.
Minnesota has a 20% power play coming into tonight's game, and it will go to work for the first time, down 1-0 late in the first period. So how will the Gophers set it up? Clayton Phillips for Novak. A long look, head on a swivel. Here's Phillips quarterbacking from the point. And now Novak. Off a crowd, but right on the blade of Matt Dedman. And a shot that actually spanked off the inboards. Ratcheted away, popped up. Novak, one touch up. Phillips there. Bushwhacked by Michaelis, but kept alive on a play by Pitlick. What a play! And now down low is Sheehy. Tyler Sheehy with 1:19 to go on the power play for Minnesota. Phillips, one-time blast. Oh, and did you see Sheehy cruising in and ready to bury that rebound if he could get to it. Novak, now Sheehy, 2-on-1 down low, but it turned into a chip shot thanks to a well-deflected play, I think, by Hookinson. Gophers keep it alive. Good movement on the power play for Minnesota now. Novak and away to Phillips. Here's Novak with 54 seconds left to power play. Phillips up the gut, blocked in traffic. Score! It's Brent Gates on the power play.
Gophers do a nice job, and watch Tommy Novak here as he reaches to the inside. That makes the defender come even lower, who then tries to get back out to block Clayton Phillips' shot and hits somebody in Brent Gates Jr. Not a first effort, a second effort. He comes back to that puck and is able to slide that one in on the ice.
Phillips and Novak get the assist points on Brent Gates' power play goal at 14:33 of the first period. It's Gators' second goal of the year, and both were on the power play. In fact, the only Minnesota goal scored against North Dakota last Saturday night was a 5-on-3 power play goal in the first by Gates. Now it's a 1-1 affair. Right back on the attack, it's Connor Mackey. And Minnesota State's Jack McNeely is there. Kicked off and turned by Nathan Burke. And Minnesota comes out. Burke bumped by Napravnik, but not out. And it's tracked down by Robbie Stucker. Piled into it, full blast by Nicholas Rivera. Mavericks tri-captain. And now with 4 minutes, 31 seconds to go, we'll march it back down for the face-off, and we're tied on Gates' power play goal. While we were away, they let the play go anyway for some unknown reason, and Gerard has scored for Minnesota State. Charlie Gerard from Rocky River, Ohio. 6 points in his first 7 games now.
This is just an old-fashioned turnover created through puck pursuit and then bring it right to the house as you see the player unimpeded right on the doorstep, is able to slam that one home.
2-1 Minnesota State. A slingshot away by Israelson. Didn't go very far. And it's alive now deep in the Minnesota State end. Here comes Gates. Bumped as he went past by Scheid. And they dig out along the boards. Toomey and Michaelis will have the assists on Gerard's goal. Now the puck comes away, and the Gophers track it down on their own zone. 2-1 Minnesota State the score. And again, it was Charlie Gerard from Toomey and Sadik at 15:41 of the first period to give Minnesota State its second lead of the period and game. Piling in, Sadik is there. Puck got out and loose somehow and is popped away by the Golden Gophers. And flung back out again by Blake McLaughlin. Long one on the tape for Garrett's. Now Garrett's wheels lost the puck, looking for reinforcements that are just coming off the Minnesota State bench. And piling down there is Clayton Phillips for Minnesota. Now they pile down there, a hit on Sheehy. Dallas Garrett's turned by Nanny. Tyler Nanny for the Golden Gophers. Whoops, coughed over. Broken back down by Minnesota State. A wheeling deal right through the lip of the goal crease. No damage done. Jared Spooner checked by Nanny. The puck up to the line. They ratchet over the line. Here's Mackey. Hit, lost it. Picked up on the go by Rem Pitlick. Sails over the line. It's 3-on-4. A drive. And it really hit Israelson hard. So hard it ricocheted almost back up to the Minnesota State blue line, as you saw. Sheehy. Fine, fast skating hockey game here. Here's Rem Pitlick. Drops it back. Now Santo. And And the blast turned away. Sampo Ranta.
Ranta trying to find Rem Pitlick there on the backside. Now they've been out for some time, able to get a change. And I was worried there, Doug. The Gophers were pinned in for some time.
Toomey tries to center a play. Nothing doing there. Banged off the boards by Brandon McManus, but shoveled right back down again by Michaelis. Now, Minnesota State. Defenseman change and sail into the play, but the puck sails out of the play. And with 92 seconds to go in the first period, it's now 2-1 Minnesota State. Then we'll have another look here at Charlie Garrard's what is now the go-ahead goal for Minnesota State.
This will drive guys crazy. The Gophers win the face-off, but then the puck turned over there. Toomey, great individual effort to just pick the pocket of the Gopher defender, and then they bring it straight to the house, and another breakdown as a player misses his check, going right down the slot area. And Mike Hastings has to be happy. He talked about not being very pleased with his first period so far this year. Really wanted to focus on getting off to a good start. He's been able to.
At neutral ice, here comes Novak. Driving the line, broken up. Turned back out by Minnesota State with 1:17 to go in the first period. Mavericks up by a goal. But will that be how it is going to the locker room? The speed with which this game has been played in the first period. The puck really flying around. Who knows? Now a minute 3 to go in the period, and icing is called on Minnesota State.
One of the focuses heading into this game would be the Maverick power play off the ice, a pair of power play opportunities. That's going to be something that Bob Motzko discusses with his group. And I would say another thing, starting to play more like we saw the two freshmen, playing with pace, trying to push the defense of the Mavericks to turn that puck over offensively to provide some space in front of Israelson.
Gophers turn it back to start drawing the defense out. Shoveled at the line by Phillips, but not quite in a timely manner. Offside with 53.2 seconds to go in the period.
But a big offsides, that allows the Mavericks to get a change there. They change all 5 after the offensive zone face-off prior.
Now from the neutral zone. Zulsdorf turned it back, and it is Sampo Ranta. Bodies flying. Jaremko is there. Surrounded. Shoots anyway. Up the middle. Stopped by Robson. And then showers of ice shavings were flying everything and everywhere around Matt Robson.
The Gophers fortunate with a quick whistle as Robson barely had full control of this. And watch the second layer coming unimpeded. Reggie Lutz would have had a great opportunity to whack away at Robson's hand, which had barely covered that puck. Ordinarily, the official maybe wait a count or 2, but Matt Robson's left hand is thankful.
Big rangy junior from Mississauga, Ontario at 6'3". Big for a goaltender. Phillips in the corner, 27 seconds to go in the opening canto. And the puck jabbed back low now by Coda. Down, Romanko camped on top, turned away now by Sadik. And Sadik pounds it back out again. They drive it back in deep, turned back by Minnesota State. 8 seconds to go in the period. Mavericks will waft it away. And tap to the line. Ramsey there with 1 second, and that is the end of the first period. Well, that didn't turn out at all the way the Gophers were hoping it was going to. A strong start for Minnesota State. Coming up in our first intermission, Katie Emmer will be joined by Dallas Garrett, and former Maverick and Minnesota Wild forward Ryan Carter joins Ben Clymer right up here in the booth. So don't go anywhere. After 1 period of play here at 3M Arena at Mariucci, Minnesota State leads Minnesota 2-1. Gopher Hockey on Fox Sports North is brought to you by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by Cenex, our energy comes through. It's 2-1 Minnesota State after 20, and there was plenty of action.
The Gophers like that one back, puck watching in their own zone. That leads to an offensive opportunity for the Mavericks to get on the board. But the Gopher power play, which came in just over 20%, was able to capitalize on a loose puck after a wonderful distribution to the top by Tommy Novak. Unfortunately, turnovers so often the difference in a game. The Gophers preyed upon here as Toomey brings this puck to the net, and it's hammered home in front of Matt Robson.
And 2-1, that's where we are. Tonight's Menard's first period stats pack looks thus. Doubling up in shots, Minnesota State. Faceoffs go to the Golden Gophers, but look at giveaways. 5 to Minnesota, 1 to Minnesota State. So some things need to change, and I don't know what that's going to do. 2-1. Go to the second.
Welcome back to 3M Arena. 2-1 Minnesota State leads after the first. We're moments away from dropping the puck into the second period. I'm with assistant coach Garrett Raboyne. Coach, Motzko told us before this game that discipline was something you guys needed to work on. 2 penalties there in the first period. What was his message after the first?
Well, I think we weren't happy with the penalties, but right now it's about us putting pucks into good spots where we can get in on our forecheck and possess the puck in the O zone. It's all we had shots from out on the goaltender, and they were able to just come back on us. So we got to work on that moving forward here in the second period.
All right, Coach, thanks. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Katie Emmer downstairs with Garrett Raboyne. Part of the new look Minnesota coaching staff this year that came in along with Bob Motzko, and very high hopes and a lot of talent to work with too. We go to the second period. It's Minnesota State 2 and Minnesota 1. Ben Clymer and Doug McLeod upstairs, Katie downstairs, and there's Matt Robson, who's plenty busy in that period. Faced 10 shots and 2 went in.
So the Gophers doubled up in shots, and if you do remember back to early October, the Bulldogs able to come into Marriott Arena and post a large shot discrepancy despite losing.
Bouncing puck to Brent Gates. He couldn't get a control. Gates hauled down in the goal crease.
Spooner with the gutsy play there, pulling that puck out of his goaltender's reach.
Look out, here comes Napravnik. They double it up in front and score. It's a 2-on-1 goal with Nicholas Rivera there for Minnesota State. And what happened there?
On a big rink, speed kills, and Napravnik is able to get around the Gopher defense and has his head up and finds Rivera right there. Wonderful patience. Not much Robson can do. You talked about the big 6'3" frame of the goaltender. Rivera able to find the 5-hole there as he points to his teammate who made a wonderful play. Just a freshman, and the 3-game point streak has continued for Napravnik. A third German joining Toomey Michaelis in Mankato, and watch Robson push off that left post, and he goes to the right post, and as he opens up, so difficult for a goaltender to not open your legs, and then he gets his melon rung there at the end of it for good wear.
And here's the new look at college hockey. The goal scored by a guy from Pacific Palisades, California. The first assist to a guy from Germany. And the second assist to a guy from Bismarck. And a high school star at that. And there you go. Rivera at 32 seconds of the second period. Tri-captain this year. Had a goal at North Dakota October 19th for Minnesota State. Now here's Nanny back in his own zone for Minnesota. It's now 3-1 Minnesota State. Gophers come out. Pitlick with speed, driving the line, lets it fly. They were trying to center something for Sampo Ranta. Nothing there. Ranta was taken down with the puck somewhere else, and that is going to be interference. So the Gophers will attempt to get that goal back here early in the period as Connor Mackey is going to go for interference for Minnesota State.
Pitlick brings this puck at the net, and Mackey's trying to defend his goaltender there. Up ahead's a Gopher going down the slot area, and that will give a power play to the Gophers, who were successful in the first period after a wonderful move to the top by Tommy Novak that eventually ended up in a Brent Gates Jr. goal.
And the only shot on goal on the only power play essayed by Minnesota tonight. Mackey gets the gate for interference at 54 seconds of the second period. And Minnesota's on the power play. Here's Clayton Phillips. Spent last 3 seasons in the U.S. Hockey League. He was in the Edina Hornet. Before that, this is blasted out by Minnesota State, retrieved deep in the Gopher zone by Robson.
Interesting, Doug. Last year we saw the Gophers do that super delayed drop pass that then has everybody crowded up at the far blue line. We haven't seen that thus far, and I believe we saw it a time or two in the Duluth series, but not as prevalently as we did last season.
How Minnesota would love to see a power play come together. I don't mean just now, anytime. But it's always, I mean, chronically, that's the last thing that's going to really drop into place early in a season for almost every team. Pulled away in a crowd. This is Jared Spooner. Almost had a 2-on-1 down there. Rivera shorthanded for Minnesota State. The puck still deep in the Golden Gopher zone. Over halfway into the power play. Now back out, it's Rem Pitlick. 32 points in 36 games as a rookie last year for Pitlick. His dad Lance, of course, a great Gopher player in the day. Turned away by Spooner. And that's cleared all the way down. 35 seconds left in the Golden Gopher power play.
So far unable to get a shot on goal. Still 5, which is what they started this period with.
Now Ranta eases it behind the net. Now it's McLaughlin, 23 to shoot in the power play. Bouncing puck. McManus backed away from Walker and carried out of the zone by Minnesota State's Josh French. Here's Nanny. Tyler Nanny carries it out for Minnesota. Power play with 5 seconds to shoot for the Gophers. Nanny drew 4 checkers and was taken off it, and the puck cleared away. That's the end of the power play with no shots on goal. Minnesota 1 for 2 so far tonight, and 1 total shot. And now it's Zamolik. Reese Zamolik. Familiar 25, plays it back down low. Shots 11-5 Minnesota State now, even though Minnesota was on the power play. But as I mentioned, the Gophers got no shots on Matthias Israelson. Now comes Burke. On with Romanko. They sail down low. Everybody changing behind them. Full strength hockey. Through the logo. A whack at it by French didn't do anything. And now it's turned back by Minnesota's Ben Brinkman. Pulled out of a crowd down low. Bounds away from Ramsey. Burke shovels it up the wall. A piling check by Darian Romanko. And it's flipped away by Sadik. Gophers keep it alive, however. Puck's alive in the Minnesota State zone. 3-1 Mavericks, who scored at 32 seconds of this second period to increase their lead. Now back out they come, or try to, through neutral ice, but Duer is muscled off the puck. It's fired back into Minnesota State ice, and the Gophers' Ben Brinkman taken down by Dallas Gerrans back there. And the Gophers are going to have another power play here, as Gerrans early in this period is going to sit for Minnesota State.
Tough penalty here for the Mavericks because they've had momentum, even though the Gophers have had a power play opportunity. They did a brilliant job killing that power play, and it felt like Mike Hastings' team would be able to build out of that. And Mike Hastings mouthing what happened there, and well, I can tell you that Ben Brinkman was upended and on the ice. I couldn't see the exact nature of the infraction, but
well, now they're going to review it. Well, the penalty's under review now, so hold everything. The power play has not begun. The referees will look at the video. While the guys will stand around and wait to see what's going to happen here. It's 3-1 Minnesota State. Mavericks only 4 seniors on this team. One of them is Israelson, the goaltender.
Contact to the head. Take an ice level view. You'll get a full view of, well, Brinkman going down, and the officials just saw that look, I am sure.
That's the look that's available, I'm told.
Will they choose to render opportunities past the 2-minute power play is the real question on hand right now.
And the review continues. Go ahead and review yourself in your family room. And here it comes. That's what they're looking at. Dallas Garrett's a sophomore from Blaine.
So what I watched closely there was Gerard's feet. Did they leave the ice? Was he jumping? Both feet were on the ice the entire time. I don't think this should be a 5-minute penalty. I believe that, yes, there was some contact, but I don't believe he was doing it maliciously. I think it was more of just the state of the two players connecting and the angles of the two. Nothing with intent or any sort of beyond a normal physical hockey play. Watch the feet for the people at home. That's a big deciding factor, as you'll hear the Department of Player Safety in the National Hockey League. And you see his body spin, obviously back and to the left, but
sometimes you'll see the instigator really leave the ice, really leave his feet and throw, which really lets him throw an incredible amount of body force onto another player, but you didn't see that there.
And another key factor is, do you see a player's feet train track on the ice? Are they both on the ice, or is he skating all the way through the hit? I just don't believe he was going quite as hard as he could have been. If he would have wanted to put Ben Brinkman in an even more precarious situation, I believe he would have had the opportunity to. And
well, the review is over. There's a power play coming for Minnesota regardless. And I think that's all it is, a 2-minute minor to Garrett's, and indeed that is what it's going to be.
I believe that's a very just call for both parties. The Gophers deserving of a power play. It will be an interference call, but nothing further.
And so, power play number 3 kicks off for Minnesota. Down by 2 goals. The Gophers could use a red lighter right here. Phillips swings it over. Novak is there. Crossing with Pitlick, and Pitlick fires on a save by Israelson.
Crazy patience there in the blue line as Tommy Novak evaded a defender up high, and that's one of those ones, Doug, that if it goes bad, it's really bad.
That's right. Novak swings around now, 90 seconds of the power play. They fire, down goes Israelson, and he drops and covers, and the clock stops.
Sneaky little deflection. Fans at home, watch Brett Gates in the middle, number 10. He's trying to position himself so he can just deflect this puck, but it creates an awkward angle for the goaltender who's trying to square up to Tommy Novak. All of a sudden, a pass is deflected on net with some pace. A popular play in the National Hockey League that Thomas Vanek was really good at for the Minnesota Wild.
Novak wins the draw. Power play running for Minnesota. Here is Pitlick to knock it down low. Pitlick is there, looking. They take their time. Phillips swings it over. Here's Novak. Little spinorama. Round the horn. Pitlick looking, kicks it up. A drive by Phillips, but no. Pitlick keeps it alive again, and back high they go again. Phillips, Novak, and Pitlick. They center, diving. Sheehy got a little piece of it, but no, trying to keep it alive. The net came loose for a minute, I thought, but it's still on. The referee kept it on, and the puck cleared away. A bad scramble down there around Matthias Israelson.
And again, it was a shot pass type of situation. Instead of to Gates in the middle, this was to Sheehy a bit more towards the back door, and Israelson able to get that right pad down as Sheehy tried to get a second whack in there as well.
And how many men are on the ice here? Let's see.
and the official made that circular motion like we had too many men on the ice. And
I think a few minutes ago there were too many men on there, a few seconds ago.
We'll go against Bob Motzko's Gophers.
Well, there will be more addressing this situation.
And you just saw Bob Motzko put his hands in the position of an eye. And that will be how the forecheck of the Gophers will play out. Two defensemen will play laterally together, and then the first forward will be far deeper than the second forward.
So that power play was 90 seconds long for the Golden Gophers. And they are now in a 4-on-4 situation.
So 30 seconds of 4-on-4 action, and then that red-hot power play of the Mavericks will have another opportunity.
And that will be 90 seconds long. Laughlin topped it back, picked off by Parker Toomey. Possible 3-on-2 now, and it is, and a shot that's dicked away over the crossbar and up and out of play. 11 seconds away from a Minnesota State power play, and 13:41 to go in the second. 3-1 Mavericks. Still 4-on-4 for a little bit. A reminder, you could join Fox Sports North for the Mustache Run, Saturday, November 24th, supporting men's health and creating awareness for prostate and other men's cancers. If you're not a runner, still want to donate to a great cause, well, take care of you there too. The Minnesota Prostate Cancer Coalition helps men struggling with cancers. To register for the race or more details, visit mustacherun.com. That's mustache. You just spell it with the O, M-O-U. Some of these mustaches coming in this month are really looking like old-time hockey, I'll tell you. The old Fu Manchus. That one's trapped by Robson and stops play. 4 seconds away from a somewhat abbreviated Minnesota State power play.
Top mustache I can think of, Lanny McDonald.
That was the all-timer, and easily seen because he also never wore a helmet.
Correct.
My old partner, broadcast partner in Phoenix, Charlie Simmer, had a beaut of a mustache when he played for the Los Angeles Kings. And he had a fro to go with it sometimes, too. It was a simpler time. Power play now begins for Minnesota State. This is a 1-minute 30-second man advantage, the third power play of the night. Mavs are 0 for 2 on the man advantage. They lead this game 3-1 here early in the second. And that will stop play. Gopher Hockey single game tickets are on sale now, starting as low as $20. $20 a ticket. No bad seats in this building, incidentally. Don't miss a minute of the nonstop action on the ice at 3M Arena in Mariucci. Visit gophersports.com. Grab your tickets today, and again, some as low as $20. They've got some family packages on there. They've got some new packages I've seen that combine hockey and basketball, among other things. I think volleyball, too. Lots of opportunities to watch your Golden Gopher teams. So, Minnesota State, now they tighten it up. Here's a wide-open shot by Michaelis, and it just got turned away. Back out. Mark Michaelis again, looking, floats it low against the sweep check of Sheehy. Got the puck into Pravnik. Turned back by the Golden Gophers, and it's out of there.
Lucky for the Gophers netminder Robson that the Pravnik wasn't able to shoot that puck a bit quicker. Had to pivot around his foot to be able to get that one off. And a couple of great power play opportunities for the Mavericks.
Charlie Gerard wheeling back low now for Minnesota State by himself back there. The puck feathers away. They bang along the end boards. Chopped up the wood. For Connor Mackey didn't get there though. And the Gophers punch it clear, and it is gone again. And now down to the last 15 seconds of the 90-second Minnesota State power play. And it's Connor Mackey. Trying to get around Jack Ramsey. A hit by Nanny. Now Ramsey piles it down there with Coda. That's the end of the power play. The Golden Gophers are at full strength. And Minnesota State is 0 for 3 on the man advantage tonight. One shot on that power play for the Mavs.
Nanny was hit hard by Lutz there right in front of the official. And Would have been a possible power play opportunity, but having a conversation with the official there, be a judge. Understand exactly what the official is saying. He's trying to jump a bit to his right to evade and was upended a touch. It's almost one of those situations where if it happens twice, you get a power play.
And you get it, yeah. Yep. Cracked down by Andy Carroll. His dad, Todd, is the former head coach of the Minnesota State women's hockey team from Mankato State at the time. Loose back of the Minnesota zone. A check down there by Blake McLaughlin. Punched out. Gates is there, driving back out against Ian Scheid. He's taken to the wood at neutral ice, and it's dragged back by McNeely. 3-1 Minnesota State. Second period ticking along. It's Brinkman for the Golden Gophers now, and Robbie Stucker is there.
Stucker and Brinkman unable to get that puck cleanly up the ice because both the wings had basically vacated their post and were circling in the neutral zone. Those players have to post up, especially for a pair of freshman defensemen. Give them an easy out in the neutral zone to get that puck in.
McLaughlin through the logo. Flips it over the line, but picked off by Minnesota State's Ian Scheid. Trying to break Coda down the wing boards, but fortunately Brinkman catches up, fortunately for Minnesota. Brinkman stapling Garage to the boards.
Now starting to be a long shift for Brinkman and Stucker. The Gophers have to get this puck in as they turn it over again in the neutral zone, not allowing those defenders to get off the ice.
Pitlick swings it rink wide in his own zone, nearly halfway through the game. 3-1 Minnesota State. On the tape now to Brandon McManus. Wait, fires on the goal, but no. The deflection by Israelson. Kept alive by Minnesota. Walker swings it high. A drive into a crowd by Zulsdorf. And the rebound just banged off the back. Now they come again. Gophers trying to light the fire here. McManus banging with Hookinson over there. Wait flings it low. And it's pulled out of a crowd by Josh French. And that is fired low, and Minnesota State changes everybody. And the Gophers punched it out. 9.5 to go in the second. The puck just kind of died there for a moment. You saw Matthias Israelson have to dig in and get it away. Sampo Ranta sailing deep into his own zone for Minnesota. Zulsdorf is there. And Walker in support. Sammy Walker lifts it high.
Smart play there by Sammy Walker. He didn't have anything and he couldn't bounce it off the glass because there was none as the Mavericks bench was to his right. He needed to get off the ice.
Look out, through a crowd comes Jared Spooner. Now a drop shifting Tommy Novak brings it down for Minnesota. Novak trying to be held off by Scheid. The puck eases free with nothing on it, and back out come the Mavericks. Gerard crossing with Rivera, who flings it low. That line's already struck a couple of times tonight. Here at the line, it's Gerard. Picked off. Michaelis trying to walk it in. Fluttering puck. Parker Toomey had to kick it, but he couldn't flatten it out. And Minnesota at least clears it away. Gophers changing on the fly. Ranta. Now they bang it down low again. And it comes to neutral ice and away now to Romanko. Darian Romanko flings the puck down low. Burke is there. It is Burke looking, dragged to center. Could not get it away to Jack Ramsey. And at neutral ice, it's turned by Michaelis. And the loose puck gathered in again by Ramsey. And now it's Romanko. Darian Romanko in his 100th consecutive Golden Gopher hockey game. The current Iron Man of the maroon and gold. You see the way he plays. That's tough. Carroll now streams it back behind the net in his own zone, away from Ramsey. That's going to be icing, I think, on Minnesota State, and so it is. Icing on the Mavericks with 7:22 to go in period 2. 3-1. There's the Iron Man himself, Darian Romanko, the only other Gopher the only Gopher who has played every game the last couple of seasons. Always in there banging and getting banged as well.
So the Gophers able to change their lines. They take the fourth line off. They put the top line on. The Mavericks have to keep with a tired set of players on the ice in front of Israelson.
Pitlick in for the draw with Sheehy in the slot. Just pumped out of the blue paint at the last moment. Phillips lost his stick in a hit with Cota and is banged away to neutral. Manny tops it back, picked off, loose puck. Here's Gates. Brent Gates Jr. now for Minnesota. And he shoots one, and a save by Matthias Israelsson, the senior from Sweden. The former Northern Michigan Wildcat squelches the play. 3-1 Minnesota State. Well, now 6:57 to go in the second period. Teams at full strength. 3-1 Minnesota State. Pitlick, Sheehy. Now they'll switch away again. And Sheehy comes in. Wins the draw. Phillips at the line. Fires. Big screen. And it hit that big screen. His name was Sampo Ranta, number 58. And it's turned up. Lost an edge. Here's picked away. Sheehy almost was able to kiss it down there to Ranta. A shot hit three players. Now in the corner it's Ranta, the freshman from Naantali, Finland. Draft choice of the Colorado Avalanche. In the corner, pulled away by Napravnik. And Minnesota State's Edwin Hookinson toppled at the line.
Buries the player in the line as he's backing up.
Wow.
This defenseman who pinched down.
6:11 left in the middle period. Dewar. Puck bounds away. Everybody's stacked up at the blue line. Now the shots are dead even at 12-12. Noteworthy because that makes it 7-2 Minnesota in this period.
Jack Sadek pinches down Tyler Sheehy, the captain, backing him up. Buries Nick Rivera, your goal scorer, and give him a B+ on the mustache. He's able to shave the lower half of that as we're into Movember.
The easy way, boys, is just to have it all year round like I do. Just save yourself the trouble. McNeely sidles it over. Drive. Big crowd down there in front of Robson. No damage done, but kept in. Full strength hockey. The loose puck sniffed out, picked off by Ryan Zulsdorf. Whoops. Coughed over down there, up for grabs. Gates with a burst of speed to try and tap it back to Robbie Stucker. And the puck is finally cleared out to neutral ice. And turned back behind the Minnesota net again. This is the time of season you see things you won't see in March.
Called growing pains.
Yeah. And you better not see too far into November. Both teams guilty of that. You wonder what the Gophers will look like by the time the first weekend in March blows in and the Arizona State Ice Devils are here.
Bob Motzko talked to me about how, the schedule's made it so difficult to evaluate his team. It feels like normally this time of the year he has an opportunity to start to understand what that fingerprint is going to look like, who the major players are going to be, and who, frankly, is going to get a reduction in ice time than they'd expected in the summer.
Here's a drive that did get all the way through onto Robson's left pad. It was a solid connection, however. Cota there to carry it back over. Jaremko's on his left. Here's Jaremko now with a shot. There, see what they were trying to do there to try and cut Reggie Lutz in. Didn't work. Pulled away low. Jaremko flings it up, and here just off the bench, reinforcements. Hookinson. And they wheel down into the corner. It's Jaremko. Walker and Jaremko bumping down there. Hope the dog wasn't too close to the screen. Here's a shot, and that's turned away. That came right up from Max Cota.
Posted up in the high slot there, not getting too close to the defender. It's a long way for a defender to go all the way out into that high slot.
Back down comes Minnesota. McManus runs, guns right to the belly of the beast, and Matthias Israelson has the measure of that one. Brandon McManus. And it's still 3-1 Minnesota State. It's 3-1, and Minnesota State with that goal just half a minute into the period.
Minnesota Gophers crossing the blue line with speed, something they need more of, and love the center drive here. And McManus tries to cut laterally, allowing that player, the freshman Garrett Wade, an opportunity to get closer to the net, possibly pick up some scraps laying around Israelson.
I mentioned a few minutes ago that at the end of the season, the last 2 regular season games are against Arizona State. Those of you who may have said, wait, what did he say? Arizona State. Yep, Sun Devils are a bit of D1 independent. Now they're cooking along. Well, they're still a D1 independent. I suspect they'll jump into some conference before terribly long. They've been recruited, of course. Now the puck comes loose and knocked ahead. Those are the last 2 games of the regular season, and they have beat some important teams. Bounding puck. Greg Powers now in his 4th season behind the bench down there in Tempe. Getting a new building. They play in a butte right now, I'll tell you. Full capacity is 700 some. Now the puck is knocked down into the Minnesota zone. 3-1 Minnesota State. A loose puck. Here it comes right to Brandon McManus. A flipper low to Garrett Wade. Wade with 2 men on him, grinding down to the corner. Finally some help comes in the form of Pitlick. Swept and out.
The freshman Wade just gassed. He'd been on since the initial face-off. He gets off the ice. Now the Gophers with fresh troops out there.
2:38 to go in the second. This will be a great time for a Minnesota goal. Sheehy had it swept away, though, by Minnesota State. A whack at it, though, by Ranta. Coming in, Sadik sweeps, fires, no, Ranta turns, waits, Cox shoots, saved by Israelson. And at the line, it's Brinkman just got it sidled along the blue line. Now a bouncer. Sadik is there. Here's Brinkman, leaning, shooting, traffic in front. You see they got Ranta, number 58, trying to pester Israelson right in his eyelids down there, and this finally trickles on the deck, and Israelson will drop down and cover.
And a wise choice by the senior netminder, because the Gophers were just buzzing. I believe that last shot hit off Ranta that he was able to pounce on. And let's take a look here as the Gophers keep this puck in and spread it laterally. And you can see 2 defenders up high, but Ranta in behind the defenders who were unable to identify that he was sneaking in off the what was then the weak side. Awfully impressed with this guy's game, Doug. He's 6'2" and plays like it so often as a freshman. You play under your size because you're a bit timid. Maybe not as strong as other players on the ice. Not the case at all for Ranta. Holy cow, has Sammy Walker been impressive with his skating.
Minnesota's Mr. Hockey for 2018. He wears number 9. Nanny is there, blisters a drive, and Israelson makes the stop. 1:44 to go in the second period. Cub Family 4-packs are on sale right now. This is a good deal. Check this out. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 popcorn, 4 sodas, and $5 off a $50 spend at Cub. All for as low as $90 per package. Visit to gophersports.com for details and to purchase your Cub Family 4-pack for an upcoming Gopher hockey game. Lots of ways to get in here and see the Golden Gophers. And there's a lot to see. Long drive down from Zulsdorf, bobbled by Israelson. And he is so quick to pounce on the rebound.
Zulsdorf on the point position does a nice job of being a touch patient here to find a player. And a high tip by Brent Gates Jr. made that a difficult save, and Novak right on the doorstep.
Israelson wound up with 2 of his own players atop him. Not an unusual situation for a goaltender. 96 seconds remaining in the second period. And the fans upset because Novak is tossed from the faceoff. Gates for Minnesota against Jaremko. Wins the draw. Zulsdorf, Novak. And a penalty coming on Minnesota State. And the puck just finally sits there as it's touched by Jaremko. That will stop the play. And now an interesting time to grab a power play with 2 goals up for Minnesota State. A charging penalty is going to be called on the Mavericks. There you see the guilty party, Dallas Garrett's.
That's it, right at the upper portion of your screen.
Minnesota State has been penalized 4 times tonight. Garrett's has 3 of them. And he gets charging there at 18:37 of the second period.
Surprised Mike Hastings is this calm. I have a feeling he watches the video of that it won't be the case.
This is power play. Excuse me, Ben.
Good break here for the Gophers to have an opportunity to get one back before they head to the room.
Bentley shoots, deflected off his drive by Reese Simolik. Now the Gophers close in again. Power play number 4 running for Minnesota. Down by 2 goals. Clock tick, tick, tick. Last minute of play in the second period. Phillips shoots. Bangs off the advertising behind Israelson. 52 seconds in the period. Minnesota's on the power play. At the line, it's Phillips. Now they close in. A tip by Gates, and it was very nicely sniffed out by Matthias Israelson.
That's a tough save, but even a better rebound keep for him, and that's the difficult thing. Often the goaltender can make that initial save, but it will lie in that goal crease area. He's able to have double duty there. He makes the save and extinguishes any second opportunities for the Gophers.
Minnesota State has a quality backup goaltender and a freshman, and hopes you won't see him very often tonight, but he is there, and he comes from a great hockey lineage. His name is Dryden McCabe. He's on the bench wearing 29. We'll talk more about goalies in the third period. Gophers on the power play. A shot hit traffic in the form of Connor Mackey. 25 seconds left in the period. It just danced away from Brandon McManus. Now in the corner, it's Walker.
How about this Gopher power play? 4 freshmen and a sophomore out there for this group.
Waning seconds of the second period. Sampo Ranta behind the net for McManus. 6 to shoot in the period. McManus pestered by McNeely, and the puck slides away the length of the ice, and that is the end of the second period. When the third period comes along, still 37 seconds will remain on Minnesota's 4th power play of the night. Coming up in our second intermission, Katie will visit with Jack Ramsey, and we'll have more on last week's trip to Las Vegas. 40 minutes gone now. Goldie is looking very Vegas-like, I must say, tonight. After 2, Minnesota State 3, Minnesota 1. Gopher Hockey on Fox Sports North is brought to you by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Arby's, we have the meats. And by Cranky8.com. Why monkey around anywhere else? Put on your hat, fuel up for the third period, and here we go with the stats. The particular one that we wanted to show you, the second period shots. The Golden Gophers 13, Minnesota State 4. Bear in mind it was 10-5 Mavericks in the first period. So we go to the third period, 37 seconds of Gopher power play still to go. 3-1 Mavericks. 3-1 Minnesota State over Minnesota. We're going to the third period. 37 seconds of power play time remaining for the Golden Gophers as we get going. How are things going at Minnesota State lately? Well, sir, look at those NCAA wins leaders the last 7 years, Ben.
Pretty cool for Mike Hastings, what he's done down there. And the next step for him is to really have a deep run in an NCAA, get himself into a position to hoist a banner. That would be a huge deal for that team that's come a long way, and you look at the teams that's followed in his footsteps. You talked about Arizona State trying to do so. Penn State, an ultra successful program, coming out of a similar type of situation in independent fashion.
Yep. Power play running for Minnesota, and you saw that the puck was supposed to go to Phillips, who was telegraphing the big drive, but it got poked out of the zone. Now only 7 seconds left in the Minnesota power play. Phillips dropped it back. Nobody home. Sheehy driving the line. 2 to shoot. The drive comes right on, and a save by Israelson. And that's the end of the Minnesota power play. 2 shots on that one. So the Gophers now 1 for 4 on the man advantage. And this one sails back. Since Mike Hastings took over at Minnesota State, there's a drive and a goal by Michaelis. Mark Michaelis has a goal and an assist now, and it's 4-1 Minnesota State, and that is a full-strength goal.
We're going to show you maximum effort here by Dallas Gerard, coming at full steam at the sophomore defenseman, and creates the turnovers right there. And Gerard into Michaelis, who is able to punch one home after being unable to get on the board last weekend. He gets his 4th of the season, but stick taps to Gerard's there as he just had maximum puck pursuit.
Mark Michaelis, the junior from Mannheim, Germany. The Mavericks' #2 scorer coming in. Now 9 points in 7 games in this young season, and that's the way to start. A goal and 2 assists to Michaelis. Pardon me. So 10 points in 7 games. And that's enough. 4-1 Minnesota State. And I have a feeling that the rematch just down the highway in Mankato tomorrow night, the Verizon Center is going to be jumping. A smaller building. It gets loud in there. And a lot of fun. I don't need to tell you if you already live in that area, you go to games regularly. 2 terrific state of Minnesota teams, well worth following. Now Jack Ramsey. Just cut off by Carroll. I love Ramsey's response when Katie Emmer asked him if he'd been growing that mustache for a while, and he said, no, I shaved at Halloween and then just threw some fertilizer on it. People got to get up during these intermissions. You miss good stuff. Reggie Lutz at neutral feathers that one down. Everybody changing here except Minnesota's Ben Brinkman. I've had mine. I can't even remember how long. I'm afraid to shave mine off. I'm afraid something might be living in it. Now here's Novak driving back at neutral for Minnesota. Tapped it back. A shot right on. Israelson turns it back. Opt away into the corner. Sadik thumping along the boards. Nanny rips it back down there to keep the play alive for Minnesota. Walker Duer turns it away though for Minnesota State. Had trouble with it at the line, and now they have to let it go or be offside. Sadik angles it. Novak there. Now McLaughlin. Smolik just got it away, but not for long. McLaughlin piling in. The puck up for grabs and trimmed away by Minnesota State.
Thought the hunger of Blake McLaughlin's been awfully solid. He played his first game in Las Vegas against UND and squared off with a couple of upperclassmen, which can be a bit intimidating as a freshman. I think he's handled it very nicely, and also he's added to that line exactly what they need. They need somebody playing with hunger, trying to create those turnovers.
Now behind the net, here comes McLaughlin. Away to Gates. And the other way it goes to Pitlick. Hits the brakes, tried a shot, blocked, and turned back out now by Minnesota State. Dubrovnik, look at that move, and the shot just deflected off Robson.
And he had a bit of space there high to the far side he was trying to exploit.
Here comes Minnesota State on the rush, broken up in Zulsdorf's equipment. Gerard there, 4.5 gone in the third period. Bodies flying, picked up by Pitlick. Hip check by Spooner, got it loose. Gophers are changing behind the play with only Sampo Ranta down there. And that's played up into the benches and out of play. Shots now suddenly are not so wide apart. Now they're 19-16 Minnesota. In other words, 2-1 Minnesota State in this period. And that one of those two was a goal before the period was even quite a minute old.
So Waite will take this faceoff despite Sammy Walker being the traditional center. Waite can draw to his strong backhand there, wins the draw.
Sadik for Minnesota fires. Now Gerard. High hanging puck to neutral ice. Michaelis is there. Here he comes trying to shake off Brinkman, who would not give up. And it's turned back by Sammy Walker.
Good battle by Brinkman there. The strong skating Michaelis trying to get to the outside.
Now Sadik tried to make a little move there on Toomey, who broke it up. Brinkman for Minnesota flippers it back. Sadik's there. And up the wall to Garrett Waite. Punched back through neutral. Looks for Minnesota State. Pounded to the end boards by Ben Brinkman.
Well, 210 pounds there pushed against.
Brinkman had 50 points in 31 games last year at Edina. Hornets captain the last 2 seasons. Walker drop ships, cuts in, surrounded by Mavericks, who turn the puck away to neutral ice, and Jaremko is there. Jake Jaremko.
Love that Sammy Walker understands exactly where his bread is buttered, and that's with his speed, trying to pass that puck to himself. He's been awfully impressive, and really somebody you're going to see Bob Motzko start to give more and more ice time. Guarantee that with the passion and how he's using his strength to create speed and scoring opportunities.
Well, one thing's for sure, with a new head coach, new coaching staff, the whole new thing, jobs will be available. A blast up the gut and a save by Robson on French. What a smoker that was. Penalty coming on Minnesota. No, Jack Ramsey's going to sit. Power play to Minnesota State.
The Gophers trail the Mavericks by 3 on home ice, and it only got a little bit difficult, more difficult, as you see Jack Ramsey in the penalty box, and here's how he got here. A wonderful opportunity, and he crashes down and lifts the feet and pinwheels the defender.
Well, it wasn't subtle anyway.
Well, if you're going to get a penalty, get your money's worth. That's hockey 101, but at this point, the Gopher penalty kill has done everything it can to negate a 29% power play, and this is playing with fire for a team that's already trailing by 3.
I well remember when his dad, Mike Ramsey, played for the Golden Gophers. He only played 1 year as a freshman, and then he went straight to the NHL. He had everything in sight, hard as he could, and they hit him too. It was an almighty contest every night. Something to watch, though. So the power play begins now for Minnesota State. 0 for 4 for the 29th power play, or 29% rather, power play of the Mavericks.
Quality gap there by the Gopher defense, standing up, causing the Mavericks to go off sides by a step.
0 for 3. This is number 4.
Parker Toomey, as you see right there, had 4 assists on the power play last weekend against Alaska.
This one wanders back into Minnesota ice and is dumped the length of the ice by the Minnesota penalty kill team, which includes Sadik and Zulsdorf on defense, Gates and Romanko as the PK forwards. Toomey hit by Romanko, but the puck stays alive to Minnesota State. Gerard, Toomey, off the boards and out. Nicely done, but turned back now by Deprovnik for Minnesota State. And a drive by Toomey comes right on. And now in the corner, here we go, as Sadik and Toomey take exception to each other. Toomey took Sadik right down, and Sadik came up ready to go.
Sadik undercut Toomey, who then came down right on top of the senior defenseman, trying to drive his head into the ice. And you see a cross check there, and that's it. Just sent Sadik into a real lather of anger.
And happily he held his temper, because now the only penalty is going to go against Minnesota State, which will even things up for a minute 7.
Create an all-important 53-second power play for the Gophers after this 4-on-4.
Huge.
Sadik as he goes low, and Toomey doesn't like that at all. Sadik lucky that that right didn't create an even-up situation.
Cross-checking to Parker Toomey at 7:27 of the third period. 4-on-4 as Israelson drops down and hangs on.
And look at what Bob Motzko does. Who are the forwards? Well, 2 freshmen who have been very good.
Yep.
They've skated. They've played a lot of the Motzko way, playing with passion, pursuing pucks. And also a 3rd freshman on the ice. See Matt Denman lining up at right defense.
Well, that old man Tyler Nanny is the 4th. With some veteran experience down there. Michaelis brings it down for Minnesota State. Connor Mackey in the corner. 47 seconds of 4-on-4 hockey. Anything can happen here. What must not happen from Minnesota's standpoint is another goal allowed. Coda with Denman all locked up with him, and now Nanny comes back. Here comes Tyler Nanny. High on the boards, turned back, pulled away by Coda. Minnesota changing here. 4-on-4 with 18 seconds to go until a Minnesota power play, and it's Jaremko. Wheeling, looking, shooting, just ticked away by Robson.
Jaremko did a wonderful job of faking a drop pass and then put Nanny in a position where he was screening his netminder. Fortunately for the Gophers, Jaremko missed the net to the left.
Power play 5 now for Minnesota. It's not going to be a long one. They're praying it will be an effective one.
Personnel changes right now as the Gophers are, I believe, again going to do that deeper drop pass breakout.
Here's a long puck along the wing to Novak. 27 seconds in the power play. 11 to go in the game. Now it is French.
Samolik did a nice job of jumping Novak there. He knew Novak wasn't going to be able to see him coming. Was also stuck all by himself on the half wall position.
And a long one misfires. Our ace statistician Mike Vednovic lets us know that Ramsey's penalty was his first since November 18th of 2016. I'll give you one guess what team the Gophers were playing that night. Oh, I'll tell you. It was Minnesota State. Great stuff, Pete. On the point, drive by Mackey, and that's on the deck to Robson.
It's an amazing coincidence. We really didn't even, I guess, pay tribute to the fact that the Gophers iced the puck on the power play, something that I guarantee Bob Motzko will visit in Monday's practice. A lot of times you'll see an extra down and back or two because of that. Another one that would sense a coach as an offsides on the power play.
This puck is pulled away by Jared Spooner for Minnesota State. Gopher power play is over with no shots on goal. 1 for 5 on the man advantage. Gates with a power play goal in the first period. Gates had a power play goal in the first period against North Dakota last Saturday in Las Vegas.
Looking at the stat sheet coming into this third period, Doug. I was trying to circle how many players had 3 shots plus. Really, Tyler Sheehy and Brent Gates, the only two with 3 and 4. That's not enough. Players need to, especially those top 6 forwards, need to really be attacking the net. There is something to be said for strength in numbers.
Trying to give back there to set something up from Garrett Waite. That didn't work. Now along the end boards, it's Brandon McManus to the line, and it just skitters away. Retrieved back there by Ryan Zulsdorf. And they fling it in. Waite sends it low. Everybody piles down along the corner boards. There's Waite, number 14. Ian Scheid, 18 for Minnesota State. Bodies flying. Fans yelling for a penalty, but no. Brinkman there at the point fires. That's deflected. Did not get on to Matthias Israelson. And the Mavericks trying to clear, instead lose the puck. Minnesota comes up with it. A chance. Novak put it high on a high line drive, and the net was knocked off the standard. I think some of the fans down there in that area were saying that, of course, that's the student section, so we're saying that was intentional, but apparently not. So 9:22 to go, at least in regulation time. Minnesota State 4, Minnesota 1.
So an offensive zone faceoff for Tommy Novak to, again, draw on his right side. And he'll pull back to a player that's had great offensive opportunities so far this year that last year just didn't quite come to fruition. That player being Clayton Phillips was brought in, Doug, mid-season to try to help a power play. Let's take another look at how we got here.
Yeah, there's what the fans were
actually pushes that off, and I think that the fans had a real gripe with that. Kevin Weeks, a goaltender in the National Hockey League, we used to do that all the time.
That's right.
He would kind of wave his blocker and his glove to shrug his shoulders to the officials like, oh, it happened again, my fault. And when you're hemmed in your own zone, well, it's awfully helpful when your netminder does that.
And the Gophers are going to use this stoppage to change goaltenders. At this point, Matt Robson has left to go to the bench, and on comes Eric Shearhorn.
So Eric Shearhorn, and reminding fans, a two-time, not one, two-time Big Ten goaltender of the year, seeing action. Robson coming out. And I'm keeping my eye on Robson right now to see if there's, anything going on with him, because of precarious time to change netminders.
Well, maybe just to put something into the hockey team, too, at this point.
Well, and you would have to think that at some point, Eric Shearhorn is going to get his chance with the net.
What a situation Bob Motzko has with his goaltenders, Ben. I mean, any coach would love to have
luxury of riches.
Matt Robson on the preseason watch for the Mike Richter Award. Eric Shearhorn, as you mentioned, the two-time Big Ten goaltender of the year, started all 38 last year, shut out Minnesota State, among others.
And he has been in the running for that Mike Richter Award as well after his freshman year.
He sure has. And he is one of the solid leaders on that hockey team. You ask anybody who plays for that team, and that's what they'll tell you.
I've asked so many players, and even today I asked Brian Deutsch, how's Eric doing? He said, you would never know. He's handled everything like an unbelievable teammate. I looked at Brian and said, I don't think I could do that. I think I would at this point be disruptive, and a real credit to his team spirit and his overall character to be able to be patient, to be an extreme team first player.
Sure is. Well, the teams he shut out last year, Michigan State, Minnesota State, North Dakota. Gophers attack. A drive is on from McLaughlin, and Israelson knocked it away. This is going to be fired the length of the ice, and tracked down by Jack Sadig, 7th round draft pick of the Minnesota Wild. Phillips, a little skating exercise down low, brings it away to neutral, and here come the Gophers, down by 3. Head down over the line, Blake McLaughlin. And skied back out again by Minnesota State. And time ticks inexorably away. 8:20 to go. Down by 3. Novak rests it down low. Here is Sheehy. The hit there leveled Brinkman of the Gophers. Turned back into the Minnesota end. Can they clear it? No. A splitter on it anyway by Reggie Lutz. And it neutralized. Garrard turns it right back again. Now Garrard slaloms in. Checked off it. Turned back out by Tyler Sheehy. First team All-American the last 2 years. Sheehy gets it into the Minnesota State zone. Under 8 minutes to go. And they grind in the corner. Tomorrow night, game 2 of this series at the Verizon Center in Mankato. Minnesota State rips it along the deck. Tipped in by Michaelis. And along the inboards, Ryan Zulsdorf. Pulled out by the Gophers, Rem Pitlick, and here he comes. Pitlick coming with speed, trying to pull away from Scheid. That's doing there, and it trickles away to neutral ice. Pitlick throws it in. Minnesota goes for a change. Carroll there, nearly bushwhacked by Sheehy. And away to neutral. Now, the Gophers hammer a high line drive down to Israelson. Too many guys out ahead, though. And that will stop play with 6:53 to go. It's Minnesota State 4, Minnesota 1.
Welcome back to our story of the game, and it's been the Mankato Mavericks being all over the Gophers in the offensive zone. A lone power play strike here by Brent Gage Jr. gets the Gophers on the board, but again, puck pursuit, a difference maker for Mike Hastings' team as Gerard capitalizes and speed again on the Gopher defense. The difference in our Grand Casino storyline of the game is Michaelis. It's the 4th of the game for Mike Hastings' Mavericks.
And the line on Robson, 50 minutes, 38 seconds played. 21 shots, 4 goals against, 17 saves. And Robson will live to fight another day. And Eric Shearhorn, who carried the mail with such aplomb the last 2 years for the Golden Gophers, is now in the net as of 10:38 of the 3rd period. Meanwhile, Matthias Israelson remains on for Minnesota State. I mentioned the Mavericks have a pretty good backup goaltender, although he's a freshman, so they're going to want Israelson in there a lot. What numbers they wind up giving to Dryden McKay, unknown. His dad, Ross, had a cup of coffee in the National Hockey League, had 1 game with Hartford. First name Dryden. What does that tell you? Look at his number, 29. Hall of Famer Ken Dryden, anybody? I think so.
Well, that's pretty cool, and also touching back on his father. I love it when I hear of a guy, you know, you play your entire life trying to get to the National Hockey League, and hey, it's the best 700 players and change. And the fact he got 1 game, he can sit back and say, I am a National Hockey League player, and
forever on the rosters.
Yep, pretty cool. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and along with sacrifices by families to get players there.
And you think back that until the 1967-68 season, there were only 6 teams left in the NHL. And there were some guys, some tremendous players who spent their whole lives in the minor leagues, or maybe got up for a cup of coffee in the majors, and that was that. Point blank shot now by Romanko. Nothing there. Blocked on the way into Israelson. The talent that didn't make it to the league prior to 1967, between about 1940 and 1967, scary. It was a 7-team lead until the remnants of the Montreal Maroons finally disappeared. They were the New York Americans at that point. I think they actually played in Brooklyn a year. After that, it was, people call it the original 6, but really it was the surviving 6 at that point. Here's a holding penalty with 5 minutes and 43 seconds to go. And that is going to give a power play opportunity down by 3 goals to Minnesota again. Julian Napropnik gets the gate for holding.
And watching neutral zone here is you'll see Waite try to get to the red line area there to chip that puck in, and he's interfered with. So a power play opportunity. The Gophers scored earlier. Brent Gates Jr. after a nice little play up top between Novak, Clayton Phillips.
Power play number 6 now for Minnesota. The Gophers 1 for 5. And again, their only goal in this game, as it was last Saturday night in Las Vegas against North Dakota, a power play marker by Brent Gates. Last Saturday it was a 5-on-3. Here they come. Pitlick fires, deflected, wrapped, and gone.
Nice stick there by McKay to be able to deflect that puck out from the Gopher player who was trying to be patient enough for it to get to the front of the net area, but the defenseman stepping in front of him.
Sheehy now driving the line for Minnesota. Tried to float one high on the boards. That didn't work out at all. And the Mavs clear it all the way back.
The whole nature of a power play is trying to identify where the 2-on-1 is on the ice. And that doesn't matter if it's in the neutral zone trying to get into the offensive zone. And the Gophers have done a terrible job of finding the 2-on-1 to get clean entries into the zone. It's led to many turnovers and bump backs, as you saw right there.
Here you go. There's the 2-on-1. Pitlick fires, the save by Israelson, and Cates could not get to the rebound. But that was the illustration of the point. Now it's Pitlick and Sheehy. Power play has 35 seconds to run for the Golden Gophers. High slot. Oh, Sheehy banged into the end boards. Right in front of the referee, too. This will be big.
So McNeely looks at the official right away and doesn't fight the call, which I think really alludes to the point that he understood he had a player in a situation where he was a bit defenseless. I don't think he was intending on causing as much impact as likely happened. And I'll give you another look at it as the puck was just off its mark for a one-time action, and Sheehy's hit hard.
Very productive player, very skilled. The Gopher captain, Tyler Sheehy, last 2 years All-American, Hobie Baker finalist last year, co-Big Ten scoring leader last year. And the penalty minutes are going to pile on now. The guilty party, Jack McNeely, the sophomore from Lakeville.
So this could give the Gophers a power play all the way to the end of regulation into overtime, should they be able to score 3 times and get this game tied back up. And we talked about Tyler Sheehy, and a guy who's battled a lot of injuries quietly, played through a ton of injuries last year. Take a look as
once in a while you'll see an opponent say, well, he knew the guy was coming and he turned around on purpose and so on. But clearly Tyler was just going for the puck.
So it looks like it will remain a 2-minute
It's
penalty.
a 2-minute penalty. Whoa, it's a minor penalty only for boarding.
And as you saw Tyler Sheehy start to get hit, I think what the official we're looking at is, if you watched from his knee down, knee to ankle, it's going to leave the ice. That ankle looks different. The parallel, or the perpendicular view, excuse me, made it look a bit more like he put himself in a spot to get hit, not the case from that backsided view.
Oh boy, so it's 5-on-3 for only 2 minutes. Well, it's actually less than that, about 14 seconds. Here's a blast, deflected, turned away by Israelson. Minnesota State gets 1 man back now in 5 seconds. One more shot, maybe in the 2-man advantage. Pitlick, blast from the right wing by Rossini, but no. And the power play is now 5-on-4. This is power play number 7 for Minnesota. 2 shots on the previous end of it. Minute 28, 6 of power play. And a shorthanded rush. Look at Shearhorn coming out. Rolled the dice and came up craps. Mark Michaelis. Holy smoke. Second goal of the game for Michaelis.
Michaelis puts a cherry on top of what has been an awfully productive game for him. He reads the Gopher power play pass up laterally across the top and is able to control that puck before Eric Shearhorn can get to it. And tough look there for the Gophers.
Shearhorn had only been in the game about 6 or 7 minutes. And he saw that guy coming 1-on-0. Nobody near enough, I guess. And then what do? You risk a penalty shot. Power play running for Minnesota for 1 more minute, and they cough it up. Coda swings it low. And here's Denman. Oh, man. Walker now. Minnesota's attacking on the power play. Denman trying to turn it up to McManus, but no. Deking, Sampo Ranta shoots one. Deflected high and wide to the right.
2 times on this power play, Ranta's really let one rip high. The other was a one-timer.
From the point, Denman. Now Ranta fires, blocked, and that really hurt Mackey. Connor Mackey got all of Ranta's shot. Gophers keep up the pressure. Here comes Walker. Deking, broken up. Now Denman bangs it rink wide. And that'll be cleared all the way down. Last 6 seconds of the Gopher power play. And it is now over. No shots on that Gopher power play. 2 minutes to go in the game. 5-1 Minnesota State. Goals early and late here in the 3rd period have sunk the good ship Minnesota. Brinkman hustles down after it. His partner is Stucker for Minnesota. Gotta get out of the zone. You see in the upper left corner of your screen, the Gophers do have a slight advantage in shots on goal, but the other numbers are the ones that matter.
Well, and if you looked at scoring chances, well, that would go the Mavericks' direction and proximity, average shot proximity from the net. I guarantee there would be a good 5 to 8 foot differential going the Mavericks' direction. And really what that's showing you is, how close and how grade A are you getting with your shots. I feel like the Gophers have a large number of perimeter efforts this evening.
Final minute of play of this hockey game. 3M Arena at Mariucci rapidly emptying. Gophers had too many men on the ice.
And I'm sorry, but that was just flat out sloppy right there by the Minnesota Gophers. The player that was exiting the ice was slow. The player that was entering the ice was computing things slowly to identify that he shouldn't touch the puck. And Bob Motzko's not a happy coach right now. Look at Toomey. He's not happy with his last shift. Mike Hastings on the other side, very happy with that line. As you see on the bottom, 8 points for the top line of the Mavericks. And, they were impactful last weekend as well. They had a large portion of the points, 8 in fact.
And so a rubbing salt into their own wound penalty to Minnesota. A bench penalty for too many men on the ice in 19-14 of the 3rd. Power play running for Minnesota State the rest of the game unless they score. And the rest of the game will be 25 seconds. Well, that will be a thoughtful bus ride down to Mankato tomorrow for the Golden Gophers. Long and on the tape. Dallas Garrett's there. And that's up and out of play. Garrett scored the first goal of this game way back at 5:56 of the first period, which does seem like a long time ago. And so tomorrow, these teams will square off again at the Verizon Center in Mankato. And after that, the Gophers actually get a Big Ten weekend series. A long shot on, and Shearhorn makes the stop. Again, Eric Shearhorn came in at 10:38 of the 3rd in relief of Matt Robson. So the series at Wisconsin, the Bucky Badgers And then we'll be back with you for part least of the St. Lawrence series here on Fox Sports North. And that is the end of the game. Well, it was a very entertaining contest for a while, but Ben, all the Gophers can do is look to what's going to happen tomorrow night to try and retrieve this situation. And what does have to happen tomorrow night?
Well, first off, there's teachable moments. Bob Motzko made it clear that keeping the Maverick power play off of the ice was going to be imperative. Well, the Gophers gave them 2 opportunities early. It was also going to be important to have a good first period from an offensive output. They were outshot 2-1 in that first period. And as the game carried on, I felt like there was a divide. Who was a passenger and who was really motoring the boat, so to speak. And well, Minnesota didn't have enough players pulling that rope in the right direction. And Bob Motzko, I guarantee, will have a very honest conversation with the players he felt weren't participating up to their expectations. And it will be a different game as this prideful group will head down I-169.
So the number 4 Minnesota State Mavericks have put it all over the number 8 and 10 Minnesota Golden Gophers here in Minneapolis tonight. Rematch tomorrow night in Mankato. The final score, Minnesota State 5, the Minnesota Golden Gophers 1. We'll be right back.